The author of True Love, Judith Viorst. Viorst was born February 2nd, 1931 in New Jersey. She is a 1952 graduate of the Newark College of Arts and Sciences at Rutgers University. She married political writer Milton Viorst in 1960. Viorst wrote both books for children and adults. During the time that Viorst wrote True Love, social norms were changing in regards to sexual and marital relationships. Non-marital relationships had become accepted. Before this, marriage was like an obligation, but after, couples seemed more free to get married based off of their feelings for one another. Around 100 years ago, a fire sparked in sexual politics, but really in the 1970s is when women's sexuality outside of marriage became accepted by society. This, based on when Viorst got married in 1960, it's possible to infer that the events leading up to this revolution influenced her to get married. Viorst used a comical tone in the poem True Love, as she did in what she's primarily known for in children's books. This tone helps marital problems look minuscule and insignificant to the audience. This tone is comical and ironic, helping convey its intended message better. Also, her diction indicates that she possibly felt above her husband and would rather do more exquisite activities than sit around and watch football with the guy. Her use of the word pungent in the line of "I put on eyeliner and make pungent observations" makes her seem a little condescending and repulsed by her relationship with the guy, even though she loves him. The setting of the poem seems to take place in a typical middle to working class household. Viorst indicates that they have money problems, as do other middle class households. In the poem, she won't let him buy stock that subsequently goes up drastically, but he understands, and that to her is true love. This poem is realistic and honest. Viorst reveals minor arguments, and at times they would say they hate each other, but deep within they understood, appreciated, and loved each other, helping them overcome their rough patches. This poem wasn't a cliche or romantic love poem. It reveals some of the ugly sides of really loving each other, getting through problems, petty or big. The characters' love in this poem is being displayed by devotion and friendship. Their interests or lack of productivity in some stuff helps show that. For example, football doesn't really woo the wife, but she watches it anyway. The husband, he wears unironed clothes willingly and still listens to his wife's opinions even though he may not agree because he loves her. Love is like tug of war, give and take. Viorst uses repetition at the beginning of every stanza to give more and more examples of true love. The love that she portrays isn't what comes to mind typically. Her circumstances that she explains help enforce that, as they are seemingly detrimental. But that's how it is long term. Loving someone isn't always Valentine's Day-ish. Smoking is portrayed as a habit of the wife that the husband doesn't like in this poem. Smoking literally has no positive effects. It's a habit of the wife that the husband accepts because he loves her, everything about her, even if it's something he's not exactly overjoyed about. In this poem, the speaker opens up with, "It is true love because," subsequently falling with something she does but he doesn't like, but accepts it, and vice versa, of course. The numerous examples thus far help back that up, such as her trying to watch football with him, even though she hates it. Viorst then brings up an ultimatum in which its tone is ironic and mocking, because the wife asks the husband that if she or his mother were drowning, who would he save? He always says her, the wife, but she is reluctant to think so at times. Those are two different kind of loves. After an apparent act of vain, the wife wakes up with a hangover after the husband asks her to quit drinking the night before. He doesn't act like "I told you so." He simply aids her in what ways he can, because he loves her, and all of her faults included. This photo represents how she would rather see him dead than in an affair whenever he is home late for dinner. It's ironic because of how bold it is. She doesn't want him to live if he's going to be with someone else. A little morbid, but hey, that's pretty passionate. The poem shows that a marriage can be uncertain and amusing. Viorst portrays the two in a comical sense, mainly the wife. She's philosophically opposed to ironing and football. She questions her husband's loyalty by asking who he would save from drowning. The balance veers towards her a little in the poem, but they are one. As previously stated, this poem isn't glamorous or a cliché type of romance. It's getting through hardships or disagreements, and dealing with things you may not like but endure for the happiness and sake of your significant other. Both characters do this. This photo depicts how a couple can feel trapped in a marriage. Your problems are their problems. Your joys are their joys. This poem indicates that sacrifices are made out of true love, even if it looks like they're trapped. At the end of the day, no matter what problems and issues arise, true love is being able to stick it out and band together while overcoming the issue at hand. Unlike today, divorce was not socially acceptable back then, kind of forcing people to make it work. This poem ranges from tone, setting, diction. It's kinda all over the place. Viorst did a good job at letting the pieces and layout all go together and paint the picture of true love, but using the ugly side, not really showcasing the lovey-dovey side. And now lastly, Viorst mentions that marriage can dampen the fires of passion, and returns with, "We can still feel something," reinforcing that this is true love, even with all the things that they go through and endure together.